I never believed in love at first sight until the moment Gabriel Thornton looked at me across a crowded ballroom, and my entire world tilted on its axis. Let me back up. My name is Noah Barrett. I'm 27 years old, a junior architect at Barrett and Associates. Yes, my father's firm, and until that March evening I thought I had my life figured out. Work hard, make partner by 35, maybe find a nice guy to settle down with eventually. Simple, straightforward, safe. Safe was about to become a distant memory. The annual Children's Hospital Charity Gala was the kind of event I usually avoided. Too many people, too much small talk, too many opportunities for my father to parade me around like a prize show pony. But this year, skipping wasn't an option. Barrett and Associates was a platinum sponsor, and my father had made it clear that attendance was mandatory for all family members. Networking opportunity, he'd said over breakfast that morning. Half the city's business leaders will be there. Make connections, Noah. That's how you build a career. What he meant was, don't embarrass me, smile at the right people, and for God's sake, don't mention being gay to anyone who might matter. My father, Richard Barrett, was a complicated man. He'd accepted my coming out 5 years ago with the emotional warmth of someone approving a quarterly budget report. Fine, just keep it professional at work functions. That was it. No hugs, no heartfelt conversations, just a boundary drawn in sand that I was expected not to cross. So there I was, nursing a scotch I didn't really want, wearing a tuxedo that cost more than my monthly rent, trying to look interested while a real estate developer's wife told me about her Pomeranian's dietary restrictions. And we finally found this organic, grain-free option that doesn't upset Mr. Whisker's stomach. "Excuse me," a voice interrupted smoothly. "I'm so sorry to intrude, but I need to steal Noah for just a moment. Business matter." I turned, grateful for any rescue, and froze. Gabriel Thornton stood there in a midnight blue tuxedo that looked custom-made because it probably was. He was 42. I knew because I'd Googled him obsessively after learning he'd be at this event. Tall, maybe 6'2", with salt and pepper hair styled perfectly, a jawline that could cut glass, and eyes the color of aged whiskey that were currently fixed on me with an intensity that made my breath catch. He was also my father's newest business partner, the venture capitalist who just invested $15 million in Barrett, and Associates' commercial real estate division. Completely, utterly, devastatingly off limits. "Of course," the Pomeranian woman said, looking slightly miffed but unable to argue with Gabriel Thornton's polite authority. Gabriel's hand touched the small of my back, just a gesture of guidance, nothing inappropriate, but I felt that touch like an electric current straight through the expensive fabric of my tuxedo. "Thank you," I managed as he steered me toward the balcony. "She was excruciating," he smiled, and it transformed his entire face from intimidatingly handsome to absolutely devastating. "I saw your expression, thought you might need an extraction." You have no idea. We stepped out onto the balcony, the cool March air a relief after the stuffiness of the ballroom. The Chicago skyline glittered before us, beautiful and indifferent, though I'm not sure what business matter we need to discuss. "There isn't one." He leaned against the railing, studying me with those impossible eyes. I lied, "Hope you don't mind." "I don't mind at all." I took a sip of my scotch, trying to calm my racing heart. "But won't people wonder? You rescuing the boss's son from tedious conversation." "Let them wonder." Something flickered in his expression, amusement maybe, or something darker. "Your father mentioned you're working on the Riverside project. How's that going?" We talked architecture for 20 minutes. Or rather, I talked and he listened with this focused attention that made me feel like I was the only person in the world who mattered. He asked intelligent questions, challenged my assumptions, made observations that showed he actually understood design principles. "You really know this stuff," I said, surprised. "Most investors just care about ROI." I care about ROI too, but I also believe good design creates better returns. Beautiful spaces make people want to be there, stay there, spend money there. He tilted his head. Your father said you graduated top of your class at Columbia, said you could have worked anywhere but chose to come back to Chicago to his firm. He probably made it sound like nepotism. He made it sound like you're talented and loyal, both valuable qualities. What he didn't mention is that he's waiting for me to fail, waiting to prove that I only got where I am because of his name. The words came out more bitter than I intended. The scotch was loosening my tongue. Gabriel's expression shifted, something understanding in his eyes. Family businesses are complicated. Everyone assumes you haven't earned your place. Exactly. I turned to face him fully. You get it. I do. My father owned a construction company, worked there for 10 years before he'd let me make a single decision without his approval. He smiled, but it was edged with old pain. Even then, he questioned everything. I finally left, started my own investment firm. Best decision I ever made. You didn't want to take over the family business. He didn't want me to. A pause, weighted with meaning. I didn't fit his vision of a proper successor. The way he said it, the careful phrasing, made me wonder. But before I could analyze further, the balcony door opened and my father appeared. Noah, there you are, Gabriel. My father's tone was pleasant but firm. People are asking about the Riverside presentation. Noah, you should network with the mayor's development team. They're by the bar. Of course. I set down my empty glass. Thank you for the conversation, Mr. Thornton. Gabriel, please. His eyes held mine for a beat too long. And thank you. Most interesting discussion I've had all evening. As I walked away, I felt his gaze on my back like a physical touch. I was in so much trouble. The next 3 weeks were torture. Gabriel Thornton was everywhere. Partnership meetings at our office, site visits to Barrett and Associates projects, business dinners where my father insisted I attend. Every interaction was professional, appropriate, completely innocent. And absolutely loaded with tension that I was 90% sure I wasn't imagining. The way his eyes would find mine across a conference room. The slight smile when I made a point he agreed with. The casual touches, a hand on my shoulder, brushing past me in a doorway that lasted just a fraction longer than necessary. Or maybe I was projecting my own inappropriate attraction onto a straight business partner who was just being friendly. You're spiraling, my best friend Liam said over drinks one Thursday evening. I can literally see your brain eating itself. I'm not spiraling. You've been staring at that same email for 10 minutes, an email that just says thanks for the updated numbers. From him. Liam leaned across the table. Noah, you need to either make a move or move on. I can't make a move. He's my father's business partner. He's probably straight. And even if he isn't, he's 15 years older than me and completely out of my league. You don't know he's straight. He's never mentioned a girlfriend, but he's also never mentioned a boyfriend. And his personal life is totally private. Trust me, I've Googled extensively. That's not creepy at all. I'm aware I have a problem. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. Noah, this is Gabriel Thornton. Got your number from your father's assistant. Hope that's not too forward. Wondering if you're free Saturday afternoon. I'm looking at a potential property acquisition and could use a design perspective. Would value your input. GT. I stared at the message, my heart doing complicated gymnastics. What? Liam demanded. Why do you look like you've seen a ghost? I showed him the phone. Oh, you're doomed, he said cheerfully. Absolutely doomed. What are you going to say? I should say no. But you're going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. I typed back, not forward at all. Saturday works. What time? His response came immediately. 2 p.m. I'll send you the address. And Noah, thanks. You're playing with fire, Liam warned. I know, but I showed up anyway. The property was a converted warehouse in the West Loop, all exposed brick and enormous windows and bones that promised something spectacular with the right vision. Gabriel was waiting outside, dressed down in dark jeans and a charcoal sweater that somehow made him look even more attractive than the tuxedo had. Noah, thanks for coming. He shook my hand and the contact sent electricity up my arm. I know it's your Saturday. Happy to help. I looked up at the building. Residential conversion. Mixed use. Thinking residential upper floors, retail ground level, maybe a restaurant. Walk through with me. We spent 2 hours exploring the space. I sketched ideas, pointed out structural possibilities, got genuinely excited about the potential. Gabriel listened, asked questions, challenged me to think bigger. You're holding back, he said at one point, watching me revise a sketch. Why? What do you mean? That design is good, safe, but I saw your portfolio online, the thesis project you did at Columbia, the museum concept. That was extraordinary, bold, this, he gestured to my sketch. This is you playing it safe. This is realistic, commercially viable. Fuck commercially viable. He said it with such casual intensity that I looked up, startled. Sorry, but Noah, you're brilliant. I've seen it in meetings, in your presentations. You have vision. Don't water it down because you think that's what people want. My father isn't here. I'm asking what you would do if there were no limitations, no one to please but yourself. So I showed him, pulled out my tablet and sketched the real vision, the dramatic one, the risky one, the design that made my pulse race. Glass atriums and rooftop gardens and public spaces that would make people stop and stare. Gabriel watched over my shoulder, close enough that I could smell his cologne, something expensive and subtle that made me want to lean closer. That, he said quietly, that's what I wanted to see. You're extraordinary when you stop holding back. I turned to look at him. We were standing very close in the empty warehouse, afternoon light streaming through dusty windows, the city humming beyond the walls. His eyes were on mine with that same intensity from the gala, but now there was something else. Heat, desire, a matching tension that confirmed I hadn't been imagining anything. Gabriel, I should maintain professional boundaries, he said, not moving away. You're my business partner's son. You're 15 years younger than me. There are a dozen reasons this is inappropriate. Then why aren't you stepping back? Because when I look at you, all those reasons disappear. His hand came up, fingers brushing my jaw so gently I might have imagined it. Tell me to stop. Tell me this is a terrible idea. It is a terrible idea. Then tell me to leave. I can't. He kissed me. It was soft at first, questioning, giving me every opportunity to pull away. But I didn't pull away. I kissed him back, my hands fisting in his sweater, every nerve ending on fire. He made a sound low in his throat and deepened the kiss, one hand sliding into my hair, the other pulling me closer. We broke apart, breathing hard, foreheads pressed together. This can't happen, I said. I know. My father would lose his mind. I know. It would complicate everything. I know. He pulled back enough to meet my eyes. Which is why we should walk away right now. Forget this happened. Go back to being professional associates. Is that what you want? What I want, he said carefully, is you. Have wanted you since that first moment at the gala. But what I want and what's smart are two very different things. So we walk away. We should walk away. Neither of us moved. Noah, my name on his lips was almost painful. I need you to understand something. I'm not good at casual. If we do this, if we cross this line, I'm all in. I'll want everything, your time, your attention, your heart. And I'll give you the same in return. But it will be complicated and messy and potentially explosive when people find out. When, not if. I won't hide you. I've spent too much of my life hiding. Something dark crossed his expression. If we do this, I want it real, which means eventually people will know, including your father. The weight of that statement settled over us. My father, who barely tolerated my sexuality. My father, who would see this as a betrayal. His business partner sleeping with his son. My father, who had the power to make both our professional lives extremely difficult. That's a lot of consequence for a kiss, I said. That wasn't just a kiss, and you know it. He was right. That kiss was a promise, a beginning, a point of no return. I need time, I said, to think about this, about what it means. Take all the time you need. He stepped back, putting professional distance between us. But Noah, whatever you decide, I meant what I said. You're extraordinary. Don't let anyone, including your father, including me, make you play small. I didn't sleep that night, or the next 3 nights. I played the kiss over and over, analyzed every word Gabriel had said, tried to logic my way through an inherently illogical situation. I was wildly attracted to Gabriel Thornton in a way I'd never been to anyone. He was my father's business partner. He seemed to genuinely want me, not just for a fling but for something real. Something real meant coming out to my father about the relationship, which would be catastrophic. Gabriel understood the pressure of family businesses, of living up to impossible expectations. The age difference, the professional entanglement, the sheer risk of it all. You're overthinking this, Liam said on day 4 of my spiral. The question isn't about pros and cons. The question is, are you willing to risk everything for him? That's a terrifying question. Love usually is. Who said anything about love? We kissed once. Noah, you've been obsessed with this man for a month. You light up when you talk about him. You're already halfway in love. The question is whether you're brave enough to jump the rest of the way. Was I brave enough? I'd spent my whole life playing it safe, following the expected path, working for my father, living up to his standards, keeping my personal life carefully separate and sanitized. I dated, but never seriously. Never let anyone close enough to risk real hurt. Gabriel was the opposite of safe. Gabriel was a wildfire waiting to consume everything I'd carefully built. And God help me, I wanted to burn. I texted him on Thursday, can we talk, in person? His response, my place, tonight if you're free, I'll send the address. Gabriel lived in a penthouse in the Gold Coast, all floor-to-ceiling windows and modern furniture, and a view that probably cost more per month than my annual salary. He answered the door in jeans and a white button-down, barefoot, reading glasses perched on his nose. It was unfairly attractive. Noah, he stepped aside. Come in, can I get you a drink? I'm good. I walked to the windows, needing distance, needing to organize my thoughts. Nice view. It's why I bought the place. He came to stand beside me, not touching, just present. You've been thinking. I haven't been able to stop thinking. And I turned to face him. I need to know this is real. Not just attraction, not just the thrill of something forbidden. I need to know you actually want this, want me, for the right reasons. What are the right reasons? That you see me. Not Richard Barrett's son, not a talented architect you want on your projects, not some young guy for a midlife crisis. Me, Noah, with all my complications and insecurities and baggage. Gabriel removed his glasses, setting them on the nearby table. Come here. I closed the distance between us. He cupped my face in both hands, looking at me with such focused intensity I forgot to breathe. I see you, he said quietly. I see a man who's brilliant and doesn't know it, who's kind but pretends to be pragmatic, who loves architecture with a passion that makes him glow when he talks about it, who's scared of disappointing his father but won't compromise his integrity, who kissed me like he was drowning and I was air. His thumb brushed my cheekbone. I see you, Noah Barrett, all of you, and I want all of you. Even knowing it will complicate everything. especially knowing that, because you're worth the complication. I kissed him then, pouring every ounce of fear and want and desperate hope into it. He responded immediately, pulling me flush against him, one hand in my hair and one at the small of my back. We stumbled toward the couch, never breaking contact, and I ended up straddling his lap, both of us breathing hard. Noah, my name was a groan. We should slow down. Why? Because I want to do this right. Court you properly. Take you to dinner, learn everything about you, build something real before we. I kissed him again, shutting him up. Gabriel, I appreciate the gentleman routine, but I'm 27, not 17. I know what I want, and I want you. You're sure? I've never been more sure of anything. What followed was slow and intense and absolutely perfect. We took our time, learning each other, mapping skin with hands and mouths, whispering promises between kisses. Gabriel was attentive and generous and absolutely in control until he wasn't, until he was shaking apart in my arms, my name on his lips like a prayer. Afterward, we lay tangled together on his enormous bed, the city lights painting patterns across our skin. Stay tonight, he said, fingers tracing lazy patterns on my shoulder. I can't, I have an early meeting. Skip it. With you and my father, can't skip. He laughed, the sound rumbling through his chest. Right, professional boundaries, those are definitely still a thing. We're terrible at professional boundaries. The worst, he kissed my temple, know about your father. Not tonight. Tonight, let's just be us. Tomorrow we can deal with reality. But reality, as it turned out, had other plans. My father called an emergency meeting on Friday afternoon. My office, 4 p.m., you and Gabriel, non-negotiable. I showed up 5 minutes early, my stomach in knots. Gabriel was already there, his expression carefully neutral. We hadn't seen each other since I'd left his place at 6 a.m., hadn't texted beyond logistics. Looking at him now, remembering last night, made heat crawl up my neck. My father noticed, of course he noticed. Sit down, both of you, his voice was ice. We sat, Gabriel's knee pressed against mine under the table, deliberate, steadying. I'm going to ask you both a question, my father said, and I want honest answers. Are you sleeping together? The silence was deafening. Richard, Gabriel started. It's a yes or no question, Gabriel. I found my voice. How did you? Your car was parked at his building all night. My driver saw it this morning. My father's expression was carved from stone. So I'll ask again. Are you sleeping together? Gabriel's hand found mine under the table. Yes. My father's jaw tightened. How long? That's not relevant, I began. How long? Yesterday was the first time, Gabriel said calmly. But I've had feelings for Noah for several weeks. Several weeks, my father laughed, but there was no humor in it. You've been fucking my son while negotiating a $15 million partnership with my firm. I haven't been fucking anyone, Gabriel's voice went cold. I've been falling in love with your son. There's a difference. The words hit me like a physical blow. Love, he'd said love. You're 42 years old, my father said. He's 27. You're in a position of power. I'm not his boss. I'm not his professor. I'm a man who met an extraordinary person and couldn't walk away. A person who happens to be my son. A person whose career could be destroyed by this. Do you think the firm will take him seriously when everyone knows he's sleeping with the investor? The word struck home. I'd worried about exactly that, people dismissing my work as nepotism compounded by sexual favors. Gabriel's hand tightened on mine. Anyone who questions Noah's talent is a fool. His work speaks for itself. His work is irrelevant if his reputation is destroyed. Then I'll protect his reputation, Gabriel said. I'll be discreet. No, the word came out sharper than I intended. Both men turned to look at me. No, I'm done being discreet. I'm done hiding who I am and who I care about because it might embarrass someone or complicate business. Noah, my father started. I'm good at my job. I work harder than anyone else at this firm because I'm constantly trying to prove I deserve to be here. And you know what? I do deserve to be here. Not because I'm your son, but because I'm talented. Gabriel sees that. Why can't you? This isn't about your talent. Yes, it is. It's always been about my talent, my worth, whether I'm good enough to carry the Barrett name. And I'm done trying to earn your approval by making myself smaller. I stood, still gripping Gabriel's hand. I care about him. He cares about me, and I'm not going to apologize for that. My father's expression was unreadable. If you continue this relationship, there will be consequences. What kind of consequences? Professional ones. I can't have my business partner sleeping with my son. It's a conflict of interest. One of you will need to step back from Barrett and Associates. Gabriel stood. Then I'll step back. I'll sell my stake back to you. We'll end the partnership. Noah keeps his job. No, I said. Absolutely not. You invested $15 million. I don't care about the money. I care about your career. You've worked for this, built this. I'm not letting you throw it away from me. Then what do you propose? My father asked. I looked at Gabriel, then at my father, then made the decision that had been coming for 5 years. I quit. Noah. I quit. I'll give you 2 weeks' notice, tie up my projects, make the transition smooth, but I'm done working for Barrett and Associates. The words should have been terrifying. Instead, I felt light, free. I'm a good architect. I'll find another position, and Gabriel keeps his investment. You're throwing away your career for a relationship that started yesterday. My father's voice was incredulous. I'm not throwing anything away. I'm choosing myself, maybe for the first time ever. I met his eyes. And yes, I'm choosing him too, because he sees me, Dad, really sees me. Can you say the same? The question hung in the air, unanswerable. My father was quiet for a long moment. Then, you have 2 weeks. After that, you're on your own. Understood. I walked out of the office, Gabriel right behind me. We made it to the parking garage before I started shaking. Noah, Gabriel pulled me into his arms. God, you were incredible in there. I just quit my job. You stood up for yourself, for us. I have no idea what I'm going to do now. Figure it out together. He pulled back to look at me. Did you mean it, what you said about choosing me? Did you mean it when you said you were falling in love with me? I meant every word. Then I meant every word too. I kissed him, right there in the parking garage where anyone could see. I'm terrified. Me too, he smiled against my lips. But I've got you, we'll figure it out. The next 2 weeks were chaos. I worked 18-hour days transferring my projects, briefing the team, ensuring nothing would fall through the cracks. My father maintained icy professional distance. Some colleagues were supportive, others clearly thought I was insane. Gabriel and I kept our relationship quiet at the office, but outside. We stopped hiding. Dinner dates, walks through Millennium Park, evenings at his place where he cooked and I sketched, and we talked about everything. I learned he'd come out at 30, after a miserable marriage that had lasted 3 years. That his father had disowned him, which was why he'd started his own firm. That he'd built an empire from nothing because he had something to prove. He learned about my architecture obsession, my tendency to overthink everything, my weird love of terrible reality TV, about my strained relationship with my mother, who'd left when I was 12, about feeling like I was never quite good enough. You're more than good enough, he said one night, both of us on his couch, my head in his lap while he played with my hair. You're extraordinary. You're biased. I'm observant. On my last day at Barrett and Associates, I cleaned out my desk and didn't cry. My father didn't come to say goodbye. It hurt less than I expected. Gabriel was waiting in the lobby. Ready? He asked. For unemployment, absolutely. About that, he handed me a folder. Open it. Inside was a job offer. Senior designer at Thornton Development Group, focusing on sustainable urban architecture. The salary was better than what I'd been making. The creative freedom was unlimited. You're offering me a job. I'm offering you an opportunity. No nepotism, no family baggage, just your talent and my resources. We could create something incredible. People will still talk, still say I got the job because we're sleeping together. Let them talk, he cupped my face. I know the truth, you know the truth, that's what matters. When do I start? Monday if you want it. I kissed him in the middle of the lobby, in front of the receptionist and the mail clerk and anyone else who cared to watch. I want it, I want all of it. The job, the adventure, you. You have me, he said against my lips. You've had me since that first look across the ballroom. The restaurant was packed, the kind of trendy West Loop place where you needed reservations 3 months in advance. But Gabriel knew the owner, because of course he did. This is too much, I said, looking at the menu with no prices. We could have just ordered pizza. It's our 6-month anniversary. We're not celebrating with pizza. We celebrated with pizza last month. That was our 5-month anniversary. This is different. I laughed, helpless against his logic. You're ridiculous. You love it. I really do. The past 6 months had been transformative. I'd thrown myself into work at Thornton Development, designing projects that pushed boundaries and challenged conventions. Gabriel had given me free rein, and the results were extraordinary. A mixed-use development that had been featured in Architectural Digest, a sustainable housing project that won awards. More importantly, I was happy, genuinely, completely happy. My father and I had established a détente. We had dinner once a month, conversations that were stilted but slowly thawing. He'd seen my work in Architectural Digest, had called to congratulate me. Progress. I have something for you, Gabriel said, pulling a small box from his pocket. If that's a ring, I'm going to panic. It's not a ring, open it. Inside was a key, on a simple silver keychain engraved with coordinates. What is this? Coordinates to my place, our place if you want it to be. He took my hand. Noah, these past 6 months have been the best of my life. I love coming home to you. I love working with you. I love you. Move in with me. Make it official. Tears burned my eyes. That's a big step. I'm ready for big steps. The question is, are you? I thought about everything that had led to this moment. The risk we'd taken, the jobs I'd quit, the family drama we'd navigated. The way Gabriel looked at me like I was his entire world. The way I felt the same about him. Yes, I said. God, yes, I'll move in with you. He kissed me across the table, earning applause from nearby diners who'd clearly been eavesdropping. Later, walking through the city hand in hand, Gabriel said, "Do you ever regret it, leaving your father's firm?" Not even for a second. I squeezed his hand. Best decision I ever made. Even though it was terrifying. Especially because it was terrifying. You taught me that. Taught me to be brave, to choose myself, to go after what I want. What do you want? I stopped, pulling him close in the middle of the sidewalk. This, you, us, everything we're building together. You have it, he said, kissing my forehead. You have all of it for as long as you want it. Forever might be good. Forever sounds perfect. We walked home, our home now, through the city lights, 2 people who'd taken an impossible risk and found something extraordinary. Love wasn't supposed to be safe or easy or convenient, but it was supposed to be real. And this us was the realest thing I'd ever known. The ribbon-cutting ceremony for the Barrett Thornton Community Center was packed with press, city officials, and proud donors. The building behind us was a masterpiece. My design, Gabriel's funding, a collaboration that had taken 18 months and pushed every boundary I'd ever known. My father stood on the platform beside us, looking uncomfortable but present. "This center," he said into the microphone, "represents the future of sustainable urban development. It's also a testament to what's possible when talented people collaborate, even when that collaboration is unconventional." It was the closest he'd come to acknowledging my relationship with Gabriel. "My son designed this building," he continued, "and I'm proud of him. I should have said that more often." After the ceremony, my father pulled me aside. "It's a good building, Noah. Exceptional work." "Thank you. I was wrong about a lot of things. About you leaving the firm, about Gabriel, about thinking you couldn't make it on your own." He cleared his throat, emotions he usually kept buried surfacing. "I'm sorry for not seeing you clearly, for making you feel like you had to prove yourself." "Dad, let me finish. You're talented, you're successful, you're happy. That's all I should have wanted for you. I'm sorry it took me so long to understand that." We hugged, awkward and brief but real. Gabriel found me afterward, reading my expression immediately. "You okay?" "Better than okay." I kissed him, not caring who saw, ready to go home. "Always." We drove back to our place, the penthouse we'd made ours, filled with my books and his art and our shared life. Pixel, the rescue cat Gabriel had surprised me with last year, greeted us at the door with indignant meows about being left alone. "Drama queen," Gabriel said affectionately, scooping her up. I watched him, this man who turned my life upside down in the best possible way, and felt overwhelming gratitude. "Hey," I said, "I love you." "I love you too." He set down the cat, crossing to me. "What brought that on?" "Just thinking about everything. 2 years ago, I was terrified to even look at you. Now I can't imagine life without you." "Good," he pulled me close, "because you're stuck with me." "Promise." "Promise." We'd taken the risk, chosen each other despite every logical reason not to, faced judgment and consequences, and built something beautiful anyway. That first look across the ballroom had changed everything. And I'd do it all again in a heartbeat.